Good morning. Craig Howard and Chi Chi here with us today. Glad to be with you and glad to share these few moments together. I was reading something today that just kind of blew my mind. Did you know that Intel, the big chip manufacturing company, hired a man by the name of Brian David Johnson? He calls himself a futurist. Basically, he believes he can foretell the future, and so they hired him to tell them what life was going to be like uh, 15 years from now, because it takes 10 to 15 years to develop a new chip, a new microchip that goes in computers and things like that. And they ask him to tell them what life is going to be like in the world 10 to 15 years from now, so they can plan their chip, so they can build their chip according to fit the right formula, so it'll be right. And as I read that, I thought, man, how can people be so gullible, or how can people be so whatever you want to call it, to think that there's anybody but God that can tell what the future is. Um, Nobody knows what the future holds, and there's no futurist that can look into the future and say, this is what your job is going to be 15 years from now, this is what your life is going to be like 15 years from now. I mean, there are predictive models that can sort of look down the road and say, okay, based on the way technology is advancing, this is what we think cars are going to be able to do. But if you look at some of the concept cars that have been developed over the years, um, they really miss the mark a lot of times. Man is not very good at predicting what the future is going to be like. For one thing, we generally are a little bit too optimistic in our predictions and tend to see things through rose-colored glasses instead of being able to predict some of the stuff that may cause huge setbacks. I don't think anybody in the Roaring Twenties ever dreamed that there was going to be the kind of devastation that came with the Great Depression, that set everything back and caused people literally to jump out of windows killing themselves because of the stock market crash. Nobody predicted that. Um, Nobody predicted uh, World War II and all the things that were going to go on there. And certainly, um, nobody predicted some of the other terrible things that happened. If they had, they'd have stopped it. Nobody predicted that the Challenger space shuttle was going to blow up mid-flight, or they would have corrected the problem. They would have stopped the launch. And we can try as hard as we want to look at things, the trends and the way things are going, and see how things are moving and say, well, this is probably what life is going to be like. And we can make guesses, and there are certain probabilities that come into play, but only God knows what the future is going to hold. The Bible tells us over in Psalm 139, the whole psalm is great. But in the end, David says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts, and see if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." David said, "You're the only one that I can trust to know what the future is going to be, so that you can lead me in the way that I need to go. You're the only one that I can rely on to lead me in the right path." As you're going through today and you're looking for the right path to follow today and the right path to follow in the weeks that are ahead, and the things that you have to do. This weekend I'm traveling up to Philadelphia to celebrate my dad's 91st birthday, and it's going to be a wonderful time. Looking forward to it, but um, I don't have any idea what's going to happen this week before that weekend comes. I know that that's what my plans are. I know that's my intention, but I have no idea if that's really the way things are going to go. So I'm trusting God. I'm saying, God, I'm yours today. Lead me in the way you want me to go. Show me the path you want me to follow, and I'll do my best to follow that path, and you should too. You have a great day today. I hope you've got a lot of good plans for this week. this is Tri-County Fair Week. And so if you're in the Petersburg area, there's going to be all sorts of cool things to do there at the fair. Hope you have a great time. I will talk to you, Lord willing, tomorrow. God bless.